I'm off to Franschhoek in a couple of hours to conduct a wedding at a venue that I'm not familiar with, a venue called La Roche, which is the French for the rock. And I think that's a great title for a wedding venue. And it gives me an ideal in or entrance to say something quite specific to this young couple. On what are you building your marriage? On what are you building your future? Because foundations are hugely important. One daren't go into anything of that kind of magnitude unless you are convinced that your foundations are strong, that you're going to build a future together on something substantial. And so a wedding venue with the name La Roche, the Rock, seems to me to be about as good as it gets. Now, Jesus told a story about two men who built their homes. And the one built his home upon the rock. And the rains came down and the winds blew, and that house stood absolutely solid, despite the pressure that it was under, precisely because it was built on the rock. And the other man, you recall, built his house upon the sand. It was probably in a dry riverbed, and it hadn't rained in that part of the world for decades. And then one of those once in a 100 years or once in 50 years floods came, and that poor house got swept away. Why? Because it was built upon the sand. And so here we are, the end of 2021, looking into 2022. And I ask myself, as I ask you who are watching, on what are you building your life, your future? Regardless of how old or young you may be. And you remember Paul says, there is no other foundation that any person can lay than that which is laid. And he is, of course, referring to Jesus. Jesus, the Son of God. Jesus, the Savior of the world. Jesus, whose birth we remember in these days leading up to Christmas. Build your home. Build your marriage. Build your future, friends, on Jesus, your Lord and Savior. God bless you.